the meticulously well-crafted apology of Mr. Kanye West.
I've been done with Ye since.
You hear about slavery for 400 years? For 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
And everything he said and done since like 2013 has made it clear that he does not care about the black community. From Confederate flags and swastikas on clothing, MAGA hats, White Lives Matter shirts, anti-black statements, cozying up to white supremacists, becoming a puppet for anti-black influencers like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, idolizing Hitler.
I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming quality.
Praising Nazis.
You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. The Jew, I love everyone. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table. Especially Hitler.
And in the process, inspiring an entire generation of black and brown alt-right white supremacists.
Jews mad! Jews mad! They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
People like Sneako, Myron, Andrew Tate, they're all despicable. Hateful people that spread anti-black rhetoric on their platforms. And they are riding the black Nazi wave that Ye created.
Nigga, Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler. Do you notice nobody had any negative feedback about it?
I think one of the most lied about figures in history. I definitely think by far one of the most lied about figures in history.
You know, I'm kind of thinking we should bring the Nazi salute back.
That's why I personally would never rock with Ye again.
What's up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe and notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join that membership, and all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. So, I've done dozens of videos on Mr. Kanye West about my feelings about Kanye West, the things that he has said and done against people of my race and others, some of the ill-advised moments that Kanye has decided he had something to say that he couldn't keep to himself. And I have spoken at length about how I feel completely betrayed at Kanye West and that I have nothing else to give Mr. Kanye West in regards of kindness or pretty much, I want to say, washing away all of the things that I feel about him. So I say all that to say this. I want to speak on this so-called apology that Mr. West, and I did give it the thought it deserved. I know there's a big discussion about people wanting to hear him out and give him his day in court and let him speak to his illness and things of that nature. So I read the apology. I spent most of the day thinking about what the apology actually meant and what it was for and who it was for. And many people have their own opinions, as do I. So I want to speak on this because, for one, first things first, I want to bring up the number one issue in this apology, which is Kanye West admitting once again that he is bipolar, but this time is different, right? It seems like he's laying everything that he has said and done on the feet of bipolar. And someone in my comments, it was as early as last week, it might have been last week, the last conversation I had about Kanye, someone in my comments got at me and said, you need to do more research on bipolar, right? They were basically telling me that Kanye West is not bipolar and I needed to learn what bipolar is. Well, at his own admission, Kanye West has said he's bipolar, and that's not the first person who has gotten at me for saying that Kanye West is bipolar. This has been happening for at least 2 years. But this is what Kanye West is telling us, gang. He has admitted, and most of us saw this. He saw this for years. So I want to have this conversation. How far does this bipolar excuse work? Now, the simple fact of the matter of now, don't take the word excuse. I know this is going to be touchy. Some of you going to be listening to every word, trying to find something to react and get active about. But at the end of the day, this is an excuse. Kanye West is using his bipolar as an excuse. And I know, I saw the reaction of some people saying that it does this to you. And I don't know if many of you saw the apology and read it. And I'm going to get to that. But Kanye West is pretty much saying everything I said and done was for the illness that I occurred in my 24-year-old car accident that gave me most of my fame and riches when I created a song called Through the Wire. And most people resonated with me when I did that record back in whatever year that was. That was a big record, gang. He caught a lot of, let's say, empathy, sympathy, and this, that, and the third. And the beat was dope. And they're like, do you know he's rapping with his mouth was wired? He had a wire. So that song, that record made a lot of leeway with people of all races, and a lot of people joined hands and sing Kumbaya for Kanye West at that time. He came right after that with Jesus Walks, and the rest is history. We thought we were getting like some kind of messiah, gang. He survived a car crash and this, that, and the third. Well, according to Kanye West, he had damage to his frontal lobe from that car crash that was undiagnosed. Now, what I want to talk about, I named this video the meticulously well-crafted apology of Kanye West. Now, I want to say that because Kanye West allegedly is a billionaire. If I'm not mistaken, last time I talked about Kanye West, or last time I heard, he was a billionaire again. Once he restored his contract with Reebok, or Adidas, I'm sorry, with Adidas, and got rid of all those Yeezy sweatpants that he had in that warehouse. They had sweats and slides and all this stuff. They had to get rid of $1 billion worth of merchandise that they had to reconcile with Kanye West. Even after the anti-Semitics, the performative of canceling of Kanye West, they still had a bunch of merchandise. So they waited a year or two, decided to kiss and make up, and Kanye became a billionaire again. Now, billionaire gives you a lot of advantages, right? And one of the advantages is to have a very well-oiled, sleek PR team. And I looked at this thing. I said, you know what, Challz? We're gonna start from scratch. Let's tear this whole thing down before we talk about Kanye West as if you know everything. Let's go to his Wikipedia page and let's go under controversies. Now, every Wikipedia page that I've been on about any artist, any star, anybody of that nature, they're gonna have a little blurb in there that says controversies. Most of them, right? So you can go right there and see whatever controversies. Gang, I went to Kanye's page. These guys are good, gang. They're good. I went to Kanye's page. Ain't no blurb. Ain't no controversies on there. This page is well-oiled machine, dog. I'm talking about it makes everything, it puts everything in the box. They answer everything. Literally, this entire apology is already, the apology, the talking points are already on the Wikipedia page. You're gonna say, Challz, that's not odd. Most things happen in real time. But I'm telling you that this team is sharp, gang. They know what they're doing. Ain't no controversies on here. They have everything in the box. You go down the page, right? Man, listen, they got his whole career. They got his life. Everything is laid out perfectly, right? You look, they spent time on this. This is $1 billion Wikipedia page, gang. They got everything, Vultures One, everything. So you go down and say, okay, well, what else did he do? Like after you get past the albums and this, that, and the third, I'm sure he did something. What's the offensive thing? Well, they talk about the offensive things, but they don't talk about a lot of them, and they keep them very, very quick, very, very light. You might get a sentence or two. They break it down and explain the whole thing in a sentence or two, and then back to how great he is. They talk about his musical style. They talk about his other ventures. They talk about his philanthropy, right? They talk about his business ventures. Like, this is a page of this guy sounds great. I'm going to be honest. This guy sounds like a great person. And these are the people who wrote the apology, gang. You got to understand what you're dealing with before we start picking apart this apology and saying, you know what? Yeah, he got a point. This thing is this is a machine, gang. You got to think a guy that allegedly had a $50,000 nitrous oxide addiction ain't going to write no good ass apology. Let's just start there. Okay? So they got his presidential campaign. They wrapped that all up in a bow. Couple paragraphs, bong. They got his views, his political views. Couple paragraphs, bong. It just sound like, okay, just gonna scroll right over that swastika that's supposed to be the alternative cover art for Bully, right? Just scroll, just keep going. Don't worry about that. Anti-Semitism, nah, don't worry about that. He got deals with Balenciaga, all that. Don't worry about that. We're gonna explain it all, right? End of the day, right? I'm looking at this page, and it's a microcosm of what we're getting with this well-crafted apology, gang. You gotta understand. This is a corporate apology. You know goddamn well Kanye West ain't sit down and write this. It's too good. It's too sharp. And I start thinking, this thing is so sharp, Challz, that for you to pluck holes in this, good luck. But the simple fact of the matter is, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the well-crafted apology. Because what I'm reading, gang, and before we even get to what I feel about my people, right? You know how I feel about my people. I risk life and limb in this one for talking about my people. So you ain't even got to worry about that. We're going to get there. But what I want to talk about to those I've heard, right? By Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. Let's just start how obnoxious that is. But you know what? I'm gonna give Kanye the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna read this because I want to be fair, right? I want to be fair. But what I read when I saw this, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs, right? Before we even get to anybody else that he's offended. This thing starts off about Kanye, about how Kanye is affected by this frontal lobe injury and how he's diagnosed with. Well, everybody know Kanye had bipolar. Everybody knew that. This ain't no secret. I don't know why this thing is written like that, but they want to explain. They're gonna start from the accident, then they're gonna go to the exams and how the piss poor medical community couldn't diagnose poor Kanye. Gang, it's genius, gang. It's genius. Now they're not gonna get everybody, but even some of his staunch critics are now saying to give him a chance after this apology. Let me read this for you. To those I've heard by Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. 25 years ago, I was in a car accident that broke my jaw and caused injury to the right frontal lobe of my brain. At the time, the focus was on the visible damage, the fracture, the swelling, and the immediate physical trauma. The deeper injury, the one inside my skull, went unnoticed, gang. Now, I know medical, I know medical, I don't know, things have improved since then, but I don't know if it went unnoticed for 25 years that Kanye had issues and trauma. The way this apology is trying to make it like he went all the way until yesterday and they figured it out. We've been saying Kanye been bipolar since the goddamn early 2000s, and we ain't no doctors. We ain't from Sinai Medical Center. Like we just like, this nigga's crazy, and you know what the simple fact of the matter is? Kanye did act crazy, right? So let's just start there. I know people want to make it like we got to change these terms, but for layman's terms, that's how Kanye was acting. So I don't know if it would have took rocket science. I don't know they didn't just make bipolar diagnosis up. I know they didn't just start this. So even if they didn't notice that in that, they would have noticed it in other ways. But let me continue because we're going to get there. Comprehensive scans were not done. Neurological exams were limited, and the possibility of a frontal lobe injury was never raised. I don't believe that, but let's continue. I don't believe that. It wasn't properly diagnosed until 2023. Are you in? What are we? Okay, let me continue. That medical oversight caused serious damage to my mental health and led to my bipolar type 1 diagnosis, which he said that it wasn't a real diagnosis and that he had autism. A touch of autism. It's all over the place. How many doctors are you seeing, gang? But let me continue, because now he makes it like the bipolarism made him think, whatever. Let me read it. Let me finish. Bipolar disorder comes with its own defense system, denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. I can believe that. I believe that. You think everyone else is overreacting. You feel like you're seeing the world more clearly than ever, when in reality, you're losing your grip entirely. Once people label you as crazy, you feel as if you cannot contribute anything meaningful to the world. It's easy for people to joke and laugh it off, when in fact it's a very serious, debilitating disease you can die from. So this makes it sound mad tragic. Do you remember how many times people try to tell Kanye to get some help? It wasn't even trying to be funny. I remember a lot of people, famous people, trying to pull Kanye to the side, trying to tell Kanye. I remember specifically seeing in that documentary, I believe he made, now he didn't make it, but the one about Yeezus or whatever it was called, I don't remember the name of it offhand, but he said anybody that tries to talk to him about it, he cuts them off immediately. They get kicked out on sight, right? But in this thing, they're making it like everybody joked and laughed. They're garnering sympathy for Kanye West as if he was a man that was seeking help or didn't know what was going on, and everybody was joking and laughing about it. Kanye West got way more sympathy and empathy in this world than almost anyone on earth. One or two of the things Kanye has done would have ended the career of 95% of other people in this world. Kanye has done 50 to 60, maybe 100 offensive things. And that's lowballing. That's before he got the goddamn Twitter account. All right? Let me continue. According to the World Health Organization of Cambridge University, people with bipolar disorder have a life expectancy that is shortened by 10 to 15 years on average, and a 2 times, 3 times higher all-cause mortality rate than the general population. This is on par with severe heart disease, type 1 diabetes, HIV, and cancer, all lethal and fatal if left untreated. Now, gang, I'm going to say this. This is well crafted. We have 4 paragraphs in just talking about the seriousness of bipolarism. So they want to take the focus off of Kanye's bullshit and make this about bipolar. They want to make bipolar the villain. Bipolar is the villain now, gang. It can't be Kanye West. Right? All the white supremacist ideologies he's pushed for a decade, that bipolar did that. Gang, don't worry about it. We got it. We figured it out. Kanye's back. Graduation Part 2 coming on the way, right? So four paragraphs in, they're telling you how severe bipolarism is, right? I've seen this, like, it'd be the worst people, and they'll tell you how severe something is that person got or caught to make it like that person didn't do it, it's that. But let's go to paragraph 5 and let's keep this pushing. The scariest thing about this disorder is how persuasive it is when it tells you you don't need help. It makes you blind, but convinced you have insight. You feel powerful, certain, and unstoppable. Gang, I'm just going to be honest. This sounds like somebody that works at the Bipolar Institute wrote. Whatever place that is, whatever organization that is, this sounds like a pamphlet for that. This like they took all of this out of the pamphlet and wrote it here for Kanye West. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. So at this point, you can't argue with it because this is data that is real. This is from a reputable source. And it's a real thing that we can't attack a real thing like this because there's a lot of people with this. Right? So now you can't really attack Kanye. You just got to keep reading, right? So all we can do right now, 5 paragraphs in, we just got to keep reading about bipolar. Right? Let me continue. They got to let you know the severity and the seriousness of bipolar. Because if you don't understand that, then you can't understand why Kanye West was an asshole for 20 goddamn years. Okay? But let's keep it pushing. Now, we 5 paragraphs in. They've told you this thing controls you, manipulates you, da-da-da-da-da. So let me continue. I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endured fear, confusion, humiliation, and the exhaustion of trying to love someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self. Now, this is one of them touchy subjects that it's going to be people who feel away no matter what I say or anyone else. They're going to make this about bipolar, gang. So this is going to be touchy. But at the end of the day, this isn't explaining why you said some of the things you said, and this isn't telling us that you're really sorry, and we still haven't heard what Kanye thinks. We just heard that all of this stuff is about, first of all, Kanye pushing 50. Okay? Kanye pushing 50. And I know you're going to say, Charles, I get it, but at some point, he could have, a long time ago, decided to get his medication right, to stay on his medication, because I remember distinctly seeing him saying he don't take the shit. That he was done taking it years ago. I'm talking years. That he was done taking it. So now we get this heartfelt letter just in time for him to drop Bully. We get this heartfelt letter explaining how serious, he wasn't taking this shit serious when he stopped taking his medication. Okay, and I know you're going to say, Charles, listen, it's time to keep this shit real, gang. All right? It's time to keep it real. So at the end of the day, what we're going to do right here is figure out where the bipolar starts and where it ends. Okay? What we're going to do right now is figure out where Kanye's actually sorry at. So let me continue. I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endured fear, confusion, humiliation, and the exhaustion of trying to love someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self. In that fractured state, I gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika, and even sold t-shirts bearing it. One of the difficult aspects of having bipolar type 1 are the disconnected moments, many of which I still cannot recall. That led to poor judgment and reckless behavior that oftentimes feels like an out-of-body experience. I regret and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did. Though I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite, I love Jewish people. Gang, it's tough to hear this because it wasn't that many days ago where he reaffirmed it. He made a whole record talking about Hail Hitler. Everything seemed to come about now with his change of heart is when he can't get these shows that he wants anymore. Kanye's going all over the world searching for a place to actually do a concert. He can't do a show in damn near nowhere almost, right? Kanye got kicked out. I think it's Slovakia or some shit. Couldn't do the show there. Couldn't do the show in Brazil. Can't do shows nowhere in the U.S. Can't do shows in Britain. Half the places he go, he can't say half the words he says. You can't bring swastikas nowhere because the world understands what it means. You don't. Right? You don't. People been telling you for years, Kanye, you can't do these things. And the more you do them, the more you try to stop him, the more he wants to do it. Right? And Kanye, you was already ostracized before you got to that swastika, gang. So you're like, the swastika and even sold t-shirts. That was way after you was way out of line, gang. So the first thing you're going to speak on is the swastika. You said some stuff about black people that we ain't going to never forget. And I know your Wikipedia page has removed a lot of them things, but I pulled them up anyway. AI never forgets, gang. So end of the day, yeah, I got that right here too. But at the end of the day, you're gonna do all of that talking about bipolar, and then first thing you're gonna bring up is the swastika. You said some things about the queen, the legendary. You said some things about Harriet Tubman, King. Like, it's some stuff we got to get to before that. We got some shit to discuss before we even get to the swastika, right? Slavery's a choice, and this, that, and the third. So we not there yet. We not even there yet. But in my mind, I'm like, this well-crafted apology seemed to be lining it all up to go right to, this is why I did the swastika. Right? And the Black Lives don't matter in this thing. This thing ain't for us. This shit is in the New York Times. This shit is not for us. It ain't for the black people that you hurt. We got like a blurb in here, right? We got one paragraph that's 2 sentences long. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. One of the difficult aspects of having bipolar type 1 are the disconnected moments, many of which I still cannot recall, that led to poor judgment and reckless behavior that oftentimes feels like an out-of-body experience. I regret and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did, though. I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. So right there, we got to the Jewish people. He loves them out of nowhere. When he talks some crazy stuff about these people, let's just be honest, gang. You said some crazy stuff. And one of my things I'm going to have to say before this video is over, you took 10 years building this shit up. It's going to take you 10 years to tear it down. We're not believing you overnight with one article, one paid advertisement in the New York Times or whatever it is, the Washington Post, wherever it's at. It's going to take more than this. As long as it took you to build this, it's going to take you exactly that long to tear it down. You ain't gonna get goodwill back in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. And you said this ain't for to repair your image. You said this ain't for business wise. We'll see. We're gonna see when all this stuff start happening. When these Grammys don't go, you know he don't want certain people to win the Grammys. We already know that. So we're gonna see when all these little things start happening what Ye says. I think somebody actually got that phone finally. All right, so we haven't seen no tweets, this, that, and the third. Right? He decided to step up and kind of actually stop doing this, that, and the third. Kanye, you said a lot of stuff, gang. You said a lot of things that I don't think we are ever going to forgive or forget, but we'll see. Because Actions speak louder than words. Let me finish now. Now we just got to the I love Jewish people first. Now this is odd, gang, and this is no disrespect, but Kanye used to be one of the biggest proponents of black people you ever seen in your life. He was damn near, and I know people don't understand when I say this, but I say this. Kanye was about to be Tupac, not because he was not on no thug like shit. This was about to be the Black Panther Tupac. If you really was listening to old Kanye when he first came out, Kanye was about to be the Black Panther Tupac, Afeni's son, right? So for you to, your first thing to say is, I love Jewish people. Then you go down and you say to the black community. Now we how many paragraphs we down? Gang, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You wait 8, you get to the 8th paragraphs, and then you say, to the black community, which held me down through all of the highs and lows in the darkest of times. The black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I am sorry to have let you down. I love us. That ain't no apology. I'm just going to be honest. That's basically saying, yo, I'm sorry you feel how you feel. I love you. What is that? I'm just going to be honest. Like let's say you break the heart of somebody, your mate, right? You do something real dirty to him, and you say those words. You held me down through all the highs and lows of my darkest times. Unquestionably, you're the foundation of who I am. I'm sorry I let you down. I love you. At the end of the day, that's not an apology for what you did. You say I let you down don't mean you didn't mean to do it. It don't sound like somebody who didn't mean to do this shit. I don't think you've changed your mind about what you said. You said a lot of shit, and you don't say this thing is too much open to interpretation, bro. I'm sorry I have let you down. That's not sorry. I'm just going to be honest. Matter of fact, spend the rest of the year, every time you do something to somebody, say, I'm sorry I let you down, right? That doesn't mean that you're sorry about what you did. Words matter. How'd you let us down? What are we talking about, right? Let's continue. In early 2025, I fell into a 4-month-long manic episode of psychotic paranoia and impulsive behavior that destroyed my life. As the situation became increasingly unstable, there were times I didn't want to be here anymore. And we really regret that happened to you. And the simple fact of the matter is, Kanye has a lot of people around him who will let him get there. He pushed a lot of people away, put a lot of yes men around him who are only there for the money, for the bag, for the prestige, the things they can get out of him. So they're not going to push him to get help. So Kanye had to go into a damn near a psychotic state of paranoia to figure out, I need to change my life. Because he pushed everybody away. Even I've seen many different videos and that and the third of somebody trying to talk to him, and Ye's like, I don't care. I ain't trying to listen to you. Right? He had to go through this on his own. Some stuff you got to get through on the other side yourself. And Kanye apparently hit the rock bottom and had to get there on himself. And he says later in the thing that his wife helped him and this, that, and the third. But this was your journey to earn because you didn't want no help. Let's just be honest. Let me continue. Having bipolar disorder is not a state of constant mental illness. When you go into a manic episode, you are ill at that point. When you are not in an episode, you are completely normal. And that's when the wreckage from the illness hits the hardest. Hitting rock bottom a few months ago, my wife encouraged me to finally get help. Now, that's commendable and that's applaudable to Bianca Censori, but I'm sure Kim Kardashian told this guy 1,000,000 times, get help. I'm sure Dave Chappelle and everybody else that knows us got get help, get help, get help. Talib Kweli, get help. Everybody telling him get help. They've been telling you to get help. You've been had episodes. Didn't you get hospitalized for episodes? Many times. So I understand what you're saying, it's that and the third, but it ain't like people weren't trying to help you long before this, yay. And most of the bipolar people that I know that I've heard of or know that were as bad as you, they've already acknowledged what they got and when they got help. So I think some of this is not just the bipolar. I think you're stubborn and you don't want to acknowledge things and you don't want the help. You're going to sit here and blame this on the medical community that they didn't know you had bipolar. Meanwhile, everybody and their mother been saying this for 20 years that Kanye was bipolar. This ain't nobody, this ain't news. Let me continue. Having bipolar disorder, I have found comfort in Reddit forums of all places. Different people speak of being in manic or depressive episodes of a similar nature. I read their stories and realize I was not alone. It's not just me who ruins their life, their entire life once a year, despite taking meds every day. I don't know if Kanye's taking meds every day. I know that there were many months where he was saying, I don't need no meds. So this is well crafted and concocted for sympathy for him, but the people that know, Kanye wasn't taking no meds every day. It's just a fact. Out his own mouth. Let me continue. And I know you're going to say, well, Charles, he didn't say he was taking them every day. At the time, sometimes he probably had sporadic bursts where he was taking them. Well, you got to stay on them. If I'm not mistaken, that's how that works. And if it don't work, you're going to change them, this, that, and the third. You stay vigilant and diligent about your health care. Right? You're your own advocate. So at some point, it is your fault. At some point. And I know people have issues, this, that, and the third. I'm not saying nothing. It's a real thing. Trust me, I get that. And these sound like horrible things to be going through. And couple that with a person who thinks he has it all and he's better and smarter, this, that, and the third. And none of this stuff stopped Kanye from functioning and making a whole lot of goddamn money. Kanye knew when to make the decisions to make these money transactions. Right? And I know you're going to say, well, Charles, you're going to all day, everything I say, you're going to say, yo, Charles, I get that. But at the end of the day, both things could be true. Right? Kanye only seemed to be crazy when he wanted to be crazy. Okay? Kanye only seemed to be crazy when it was a convenient time and place. I could be crazy right here. And as to get in that office and do all that fashion shit and do this, that, and the third, and make this, that, and the third happen, and he'll do that shit without a hitch. And then over here, he'll go crazy. So what I'm saying is, it ain't all day crazy all the time. They're trying to make it like, yo, this guy couldn't think straight. No, I think a lot of these ideas were his own ideas. A lot of these things he does believe, and it just amplified his beliefs. He wasn't around us for a very long time. He patted himself with a lot of people that don't rock with us at all, that don't rock with the other people that he's disrespected. He thought that's where he wanted to be when the money was good. Now he can barely get shows, right? He just allegedly sold out that New Mexico show. It's supposed to be 2 concerts, but then what? Right? After he sold out so fast, he had to add another one. Then what after that? That's what I'm talking about. The bully album, you keep pushing it back. Then it's AI, it's all this, that, other. It's failure after failure after failure. It's a lot going on if you don't follow Kanye West. Right? I've been following Kanye West on this channel when it wasn't cool to talk about Kanye West. I still was talking about him. People in my comments like, yo, why you keep talking about this guy? Stop talking about him. No, because I'm gonna document this. So when we get right here to this moment, when he makes a daggone newsletter talking about, I'm sorry, it was the daggone this, that, and the third, I can be like, you sure? You sure? It didn't look like it when you put the MAGA hat on your head that was bipolar. I don't know if that was bipolar or not. When you helped this nigga get elected, was that bipolar? You sure? I don't believe it. Let me continue. My words as a leader in my community have read real global impact and influence. In my mania, I lost complete sight of that. Right? I skipped something. It's not just me who runs their entire life a year, despite taking meds every day and being told by the so-called best doctors in the world that I'm not bipolar, but merely experiencing symptoms of autism. Okay. As I find my new baseline and new center through an effective regime of medication, therapy, exercise, and clean living. I think I meant to say regimen. I have newfound much needed clarity. I am pouring my energy into positive, meaningful art, music, clothing, design, and other new ideas to help the world. I am not asking for sympathy or a free pass, though I aspire to earn your forgiveness. I write today simply to ask for your patience and understanding as I find my way home, gang. Let me just say this thing and then I'm out of here. What PR people do in well-crafted machines, people who do this for a living, they don't just release it on Twitter, which is what he could have did and would have got the same amount of traction. That's not who they need to see this. They need these business people who are turning their back on Yeti. They don't want to do business with him no more. They read the Wall Street Journal. They read the New York Times and this, that, and the third. So you're gonna buy an ad in that when you really mean that shit, right? You know, Trump bought that ad when he was saying that the park, I'm bugging out. I'm bugging out, but the Central Park 4, right? He had an issue with the Central Park 4. He thought they were guilty. He bought that advertisement in the newspaper. He wanted it to really be seen by the people he wanted it to be seen. right? And that's what this is. They paid for an advertisement that they could have put out for free, but they put it in the paper so to make sure that the right people got a hold of this thing and saw it, and they saw that it was well articulated, and Kanye's ready to do business again. All right, this feels like somebody who you got him all wrong, right? He's ready to do business again, right? So there's a lot of people who rise above like a phoenix. They come from the ashes and they atone for their sins. I guess this is where we are with Kanye West. But now let me figure out what we're atoning for, because to me, right, if I read all that, I'd be like, yo, it was the bipolarism. So I don't know, but let me read let me remind myself of why me as a black person was upset with Kanye West, and it didn't sound all too bipolar-y to me. It sounded like somebody who got ideas fed to him. Kanye has always been like a gullible follower, and whoever he's around, he soaks up their ideas. So it sounded like he was around a bunch of people who felt this way, and let me talk to him. Kanye West, has offended many black people through several controversial statements and actions over the years. The main points of contention include slavery as a choice. In May 2018, at TMZ, he suggested that the enslavement of African Americans over 400 years sounds like a choice, implying a degree of mental imprisonment rather than forced servitude. These remarks were met with fierce backlash from many in the black community, including celebrities like will.i.am, who called the comments ignorant and harmful. Now, you ain't got to apologize for everything in the goddamn paid advertisement, but at least slavery was a choice should have been somewhere in there, right? I was highly offended when you said that shit. My ancestors, gang, I don't play about that. My ancestors running through woods from slave catchers, I don't play about that shit at all. There wasn't no fucking choice. So I don't play about that shit. And so when he said that shit, it pissed me off. I'm going to be honest. And I have never forgiven him, never will. But the simple fact of the matter is, Kanye wants to wipe that under the rug. Like that was some bipolar mishap, right? Well, let me continue. White Lives Matter shirts in 2022. This is, you gotta understand, 2022, that's 4 years later. You're still on bullshit. This 4 years after you said slavery was a choice, you still on some bullshit. White Lives Matter shirt, standing with Candace Owens of all people, during the Paris Fashion Week event, West wore a shirt with the slogan "White Lives Matter." The Anti-Defamation League identifies this phrase as a white supremacist slogan created in response to Black Lives Matter movement, and many saw the shirt as a racist insult. But Kanye West wants us to all bow down and believe that this was a bipolar manic episode. So everything he did was bipolar. You got some splaining and some work to do. Matter of fact, you probably shouldn't have done nothing. Just said, I'm sorry, and just start making music and put the album out. Because now, to me, it's a can of worms. So this is what we doing? Democratic plantation theory. West has promoted the democratic plantation theory, which claims the Democratic Party uses welfare as a tool to keep black Americans in an underclass and suggests it contributes to the destruction of black families and high homicide rates. These claims have been challenged by academics and historians. He's taking white racist tropes and playing with them, right? It's a grift, gang, and they go on that side, and Kanye West has always told you, wait till I get my money right. What he meant, wait till I get my money right, and I'm turning on all you niggas, right? I never respected you in the first place. The simple fact of the matter is this guy respects the dollar bill. He respects money. That's all that matters to him. And the most people, guess who got the money? Some kind of way, somehow, all the white guys got the money that he idolizes. So that's where Kanye West lays his hat. So to make them happy, right? When you get in certain of these rooms, you got to appear to be one of them and feel like they feel, right? I ain't saying all of them, but I'm saying the ones that he like, okay? The ones that he rubbing elbows with, they kind of say these things in the darkest corner, and him being one of them, in his mind, he thinks he's one of them because they say these things in front of his ass. He has to adopt it. But the only problem with him, he don't know it not to say the quiet part out loud. So he'll come outside and say shit, yo, niggas is dumb, niggas on welfare. He don't know not to say that shit, right? It ain't all, it's mostly white people on welfare. I don't know if y'all know this, but we just keep this push. All right? Alleged workplace discrimination. A former black employee filed a lawsuit in April 2024 alleging that West spewed harmful rhetoric and even yelled at and berated black employees more frequently than white ones. Right? This is a lawsuit that Ye is actively still fighting. That Ye looks at his down on his people. In my opinion, based on what I'm seeing, it feels like Kanye looked down on his own people. This is why he said these things for years, but all of a sudden, it's the daggone bipolar. Let's continue. Some of this stuff be stuff you really feel, gang. Some of this stuff be stuff you really feel. It ain't because you in a manic episode. Some of these things are your own real thoughts. Most of them. Anti-abortion comments. West has made anti-abortion comments claiming that abortion amounts to genocide and population control of black people, citing unverified statistics about the race of black babies aborted in New York City, saying that we be killing all our babies. Let me continue. George Floyd comments. West insinuated that George Floyd died from a fentanyl overdose rather than from police brutality, which sparked further controversy. There was a thing going around, and it's still going around, and in some circles on that side, they still say it right now. They still joke about George Floyd, this, that, and the third. George Floyd was an addict. He died while he was having an overdose. And because they needed to explain why a white cop put his knee on a black man's neck for goddamn, how was it, 7, 8, 9 minutes of crazy shit like that? They need to explain that. And not let it be what it actually looked like. It need to have a actual reason, because no respectable cop, we would never, right? No, he had his foot on his neck. He had his knee on his neck while he was waiting for backup, and he was resisting. So they couldn't take the knee off the neck for 8, 9, 7, I don't know how many minutes it was, right? Normally, if you do that to somebody, they're going to sooner or later asphyxiate or whatever, right? They're going to suffocate. Right? And they are going to die. Now, the thing with this thing with Kanye West, he adopted this racist attitude that George Floyd was an addict that was already on his way to death, and the cop had nothing to do with it. And this guy should be free. Kanye West adopted that on his own. Wasn't nothing about no bipolar made him do that. But somehow, some way, we're going to shuffle all past that and say, guys, I'm sorry I let you guys down. My bad. Buy my album. These incidents, among others, have led many black people to criticize West for his anti-blackness, with some commentators noting that his anti-black statements did not result in the same immediate professional and financial consequences as his later anti-Semitic remarks. West has offered apologies for some of his comments, sometimes attributing his behavior to a manic episode in the undiagnosed brain injury, injury, which AI is updating that in real time because of this apology. So that right there, it shows you the power of this apology. They're all over the place. They're good, gang. They're really, really good. It's well crafted. It's well crafted. This is what I'm going to say about this, and I'm going to leave it at this. Kanye, we get it. Bipolar is a disease. It's a bad one. You got it. It made you do some really wacky, wild things. You were offensive and you upset people, and you're going to try to do better. Okay, it took you how many years to get to this diagnosis? Well, it's going to take you exactly that long for us to believe you. End of the day, I need to see 10 years of constant growth. 10. All right, I need to see 10 years, gang. Because most of us don't believe you. We're giving you 6 months. We're giving you a year tops before you crashing out again. I'm giving you less than that, but we're gonna see. We're gonna get the benefit of the doubt. So at this point, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Okay? What we're going to do right now, we're going to watch your good deeds and see what you do and see how you spend this and see how you react to things and see how you live for the next 10 years. I need 10 years, not 1 or 2. The 2 years ain't going to get it, right? I got shoes older than that. No, 2 years ain't going to get it. We need to see what you do in real time. All right? End of the day, asphyxiation, right? We need to we gonna have some fun with this because we know Kanye gonna goof up, right? And we're gonna be right there. But if you don't, God bless you, right? And end of the day, we understand that this is a real illness. Peace and blessing and healing to the people who really suffer from this, because it's real. I got people in my life that deal with this, right? But at the same time, they're younger than him, and they're actively trying to heal themselves. They're not pushing 50, blaming everything on it. Okay? So this is what I want to say to Kanye West, and then I'm out of here. If this is real, we'll see it. But you got to apologize to us, gang. First of all, the black people, we're not really impressed with this letter. We're not. I'm sorry. We're not impressed with it. Most of them. End of the day, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Head on over to CLBMG, black-yeti.com. Hit them up, let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show, me, TJ, and Fliz. 9:15 on all 8 of my social media platforms. And check out This That, me, TJ, and Fliz's new video off the What Project is right on my page. Just type in This That, Charles Brown, pop right up. Get in the comments, let me know what you think, all right? I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe and put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share. Tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location. Tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.